Sharif, talk me through your assessment of this situation. We have a massive high-profile IPO. Days later, the Chinese regulator steps in and basically cuts Didi off at the knees. How, as a US investor, should you be reading this situation?
So, the way we look at it, Guy, is, today the regulator is making it clear that no matter how big you are, and no matter who you are, and no matter who's in your cap table, whether it's a U.S. investor, a European investor, anyone, if you do not abide and, give in to their control, they will, make an example out of you. And that's what we're seeing with Didi today, right? Didi went listed a couple of days ago, then we find out they're getting investigated. Next thing you know, the app is removed from the App Store. And so, this is a warning sign to all investors, but really to all the companies out there that if you have too much data, they want to have control and they want to have oversight. And so that's what we're seeing.
So what does this mean for future IPOs? If you're a Chinese company at the moment, you are large, you have significant amounts of data. What happens next? Can you list in the United States? Will US regulators allow you to list in the United States?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think, first of all, if you're a large cap technology company in China and you want to list in the US, the first thing you have to do is you need to go to the regulator and say, can you please check everything and make sure we're abiding by all laws and requirements, because we don't want to get taken down right before or during our IPO. That's number one. Number two, I think we will continue to see US listings, Chinese listings in the United States, but I think a couple of things will happen. The discount we see on Chinese equities will continue to kind of increase. And we're already seeing that. And I think the rate of Chinese IPOs may slow, but in reality, I don't think that's a concern. I think it's the valuation that they'll get. So take Didi, for example. There was a $100 billion number floated for them, and they came out at a $67 billion valuation. We're already seeing that. So now that discount should accelerate and widen, actually.
Do you think that US regulators will also put greater health warnings, will require greater health warnings in terms of the risk?
So it's hard to tell the US regulator stance today. I think, obviously there is this kind of, US being tough on Chinese equities and kind of Chinese stocks with their, accounting requirements and things like that. That pressure will definitely continue. Whether US regulators create some sort of safeguard for foreign investors in IPOs, I think that's very complicated. I don't see that happening. But at the same time, I think global investors are learning it they're learning from their mistakes, and they're learning it the hard way, is that if there's a risk with the regulator in China today, nothing is off the table. You have to tread with caution.